on, y'all? What's going on? Welcome back to the Sit Down. This is now episode 13.2, and I'm here with my good friend Louise. Kind of like a mother figure to me, honestly. She's taught me a lot. And what's cool is we're gonna kind of dive into what you do for work, Louise, and obviously you can share as much or as little as you like to. But I know for you that's that's where your passion lies. So I know we're gonna get a lot of good information, and I'll just kind of ask some questions along the way. So let's dive in. Let's get into it.
Sounds good. Thanks, Colin, for inviting me. This is exciting.
Of course, I'm excited.
Hi everyone, I'm Louise. I'm actually an esthetician based out of South Florida. I have started my own business called Reflecting Your Beauty, and there's a depth behind that word or that title. So Reflecting Your Beauty is basically looking at the whole holistic person, not only the reflecting of your beauty on the outside, but also the inside. The inside, which is the most depth of it all. They say beauty is skin deep, right? So the beauty on the outside holds a lot on the inside. So I've actually dealt with a lot of beautiful models, runway models, and they are so gorgeous on the outside. And the minute they speak, it's like, there it goes. The beauty just went out left.
Oh man.
So the radiance of reflecting your beauty is the image of your character and who you are, right?
Absolutely.
And it ties into reflecting your beauty also on the skin. So I'll speak to you guys about skin and makeup. I'm actually makeup by trade, but esthetician by profession. I love makeup since I was a little kid. And
did you have those Barbies when you were little? Were you a Barbie girl growing up?
No, believe it or not.
Really?
I just dived right into my mom's nail polishes, Christian Dior back then in the 1970s. Guys, I'm dating myself, okay? And I would go right underneath the table and just put nail polish. And so that was like my gig. Red nail polish, red, yeah. Do the lips with the big red lips with my mom's lipstick. Then it was like $20, back in the 70s. So right now I think Christian Dior probably runs about $45, $50 a lipstick.
Crazy.
So that's how expensive it is. Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not a woman. By the way, shout out to all the women out there. Listen, I appreciate y'all. I respect you guys for doing what you have to do, buying all that makeup, putting all that makeup on.
Sure.
Listen, Louise, when I was up in Connecticut, one of my girl/friends, she wanted to put makeup on me, so I did this one time. I had like the eyeliner, the mascara.
Sweet.
I had all that.
I bet you look pretty.
It took me like a full hour to get all that off.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was terrible. So much applause to you ladies for doing what you do. My goodness.
Well, you know what? She must have really had a good time doing it.
Oh, she kicked me up too. That was thick.
It's amazing how men just keep it simple. Shave and out the door they go.
Oh,
So, you know what, back to what we were saying. So skin is very important to me. Having healthy skin, and it also has a tie of emotions. So, you know what, I'm dealing with a lot of clients who have emotional issues with acne. So that really triggers self-esteem. I also have some clients that have scars, so we do scar revision. I have this incredible woman right now I'm working on. She had some mold surgery on her on her leg, and it left her with a huge scar, and also around her arm.
Keloid?
She's actually, there's no keloiding, but there's scarring.
Gotcha.
She's a blonde, blue-eyed girl, so she doesn't keloid. But the scarring is so there, and every time she sees it, triggers memories. Triggers the emotion. Now I really believe in that healing the scar, helping it feel better, and also talking about the scar, the emotion, to release that emotion helps actually heal the physical body as well.
That's a real thing, because I can look at my scars, like my scar on my finger. I can remember exactly back to that moment, and obviously for me, not traumatic, right? Because a lot of my stuff is either self-inflicted or sports related, right? So I kind of see it as a positive thing. But even my knee, right? My big knee surgery, that does trigger moments in my mind, right? It sort of brings me back to some dark times I had,
right?
As well as me being grateful, because a lot of the things I am now are because of that. So it's do that at home, y'all. Like, look at a scar and just understand the power that it has. It takes you right back to the memory every time.
And it's a clear memory. Right. Even the emotion is tied to it. And I see that with clients when I'm doing their facials. I'll see a scar and say, tell me about that. Tell me about this incident here. I see a scar here.
Such
and they'll
vivid
go
memory.
right back to that memory. As by the way, that's how I met Colin. He was my PT therapist. I had a rotator cuff surgery, so.
She was a tough one. She was a tough one.
Nothing is easy with me. So, you know what? There's beauty in helping people feel good about themselves, and also to bring awareness to aspects of pain and healing and what God really wants to do. I'm always a believer in I'm not the healer, God is, and I'm just the vessel.
Nice.
And God has called me to be able to be with men and women in helping them in that issue. I mean, I have men you would not believe that have skin tags or moles, and it impacts them just differently than women.
Sure.
Because us women, we're very verbal and we express it, where men just hold it in.
Yeah, very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yes, there's a big difference. And just to, and there's an impact when my clients are laying on the bed. They're open. Their heart is open to express and talk about things. And there's a lot of things that are talked about. And on that session,
right,
they look at me and they're like, I don't even know why I'm telling you this. It's like, you know what? Let it out. There's an emotional release. And it's a sacred place and it's a safe place. And when you feel that, it feels good. Mm. It feels good.
Louise, when you first started being
esthetician.
There we go.
Yeah, aesthetics. You can
gotcha.
use
An esthetician. Did you understand how involved you were going to be in terms of the emotional relation, to the aesthetic portion of your job? Because I know, at least for me, right?
Right.
I didn't realize, being in the physical therapy world, there's an emotional aspect of therapy. Not only are you a physical therapist, you're an emotional therapist too.
Yes.
Because you have to ask certain questions and it immediately triggers a moment or it triggers a feeling.
True.
And to be effective, in my opinion, you have to learn how to deal with that stuff.
Agreed.
Did you have to kind of go through those learning pains, or did you sort of have that understanding going in there?
No, to be honest with you, I just thought, facials, you just put it on, take it off, facial and be done. And I remember the first time giving my friend who and I went to aesthetic school, the manipulation, which is the facial massage, and it was my first time. Had the music on and I had no idea what was happening to me. I literally started doing the facial and I felt like I was riding on a carpet ride. I was like literally flying when I was doing the facial.
Whoa.
And I was just massaging. I mean, I wasn't doing anything,
right,
out of this world, but I felt like there was almost like a gliding effect. So I went to my professor afterwards and I said, I need to talk to you about something. And she goes, yeah. And I said, is this normal to feel like that? And she said, no, it's not, but you found your what did she say? You found your forget the word what she used. Kind of like, you found what you were made for.
Like a purpose almost?
You made, yes, but it was more intense than that word. I'm losing sometimes my memory. But anyways, you found your purpose, but also you found your niche, kind of like a thing, kind of like you found your purpose, and it was really powerful. And ever since that moment, going forward, when I do facials, I literally close my eyes to give the client the massage, and there's that transfer of energy, right? Everybody knows about that. If not, you gotta go to a holistic person and let them feel. You're able to be, when you're emotionally ready to receive, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a transfer of energy, and they sense it. They know what's going on. It's a complete emotional release and a complete healing in that moment. So if somebody had, let's say for example, your mom slapped you.
Sure.
Which I've had people who've had their parents slap them. I've had young men who have post-traumatic stress from being in service. And I remember with a man, went to his face and he jumped. He kind of like jerked. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I said, are you okay? And we were able to talk about it, and he told me that, he has post-traumatic stress. So I was considerate enough to understand that. And so before I would touch his face, I said, let me do this. I'll touch your shoulder first.
Sure, kind of work
so
up.
you know, I'm going to go to your face. And that was just a natural thing that I did out of consideration for his emotion.
Right.
So to your question, sometimes you just kind of like know, and sometimes you just learn as you go along.
Yeah.
And I think the clients also lead you. And then the more that you're involved into what you do, because it's your passion.
It comes easy.
It just comes natural.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something that you have created. It's a gift.
That's it.
It's a profound gift that you cannot explain to other people. You really can't.
And that's what's so beautiful, because I see, yourself, Louise, and myself, we work with people, and we provide a product. So in my mind, because our hands are the tools,
yes.
We are the product that's being provided. So it's important to understand that there's a intentional form of growth.
Yes.
And then there's an unintentional form of growth that you get through experiences that
Yes.
you might not be prepared for.
Yes.
Just like in therapy with me, I got put through the ringer a couple times myself. But the cool thing is that it made me a much better therapist because of that.
Exactly.
Right? I have a new experience. I'm able to understand that scenario. So now I can say, yeah, if that happens twice, I'm ready. I'm ready.
But you were open to learning the lesson.
I would hope everybody is, though, right?
I don't know.
I know everybody isn't, but I would hope that,
Yes.
if you're in a field like yourself or
Yes.
myself, you have to be open. Because if you're not open, you can't provide the service correctly.
Correct. And you can't grow.
Right. Exactly.
You've got the ego. The ego, the abbreviation for ego, etching God out. You think you know everything, so you just take on everything.
That's a shame. That's a shame. That's a dangerous place to be right there.
That's a dangerous place, yes.
That is
Yes.
dangerous. So, Louise, what do you think is kind of the next step, for your makeup line, for your business that you're doing right now? Do you see yourself maybe adding in some more forms of holistic therapy? Do you see yourself sort of expanding? What do you think is next? Because I know you're not satisfied. I know you're not satisfied.
You're right. You know what? I'm always pushing myself to the next level. And sometimes I have to sit on it for a little bit. But I feel for now, my next phase is to complete my skincare line, which is Lulux Skincare, and really start branching it out and maybe even go to Whole Foods, take it to Amazon.
That's big.
Do videos of my clients and video clips of their input, their experience about using the product, and just elevating that end, but still stay humble and still work with where I am, which is our aesthetics world is always evolving. We never arrive. Right now.
Never will.
Nope. Right now, I'm gonna take a course called lamination for the eyebrows. If you got cockeyed eyebrows, this is great. You sleep on your eyebrows. You got eyebrows going different ways. I know my son does, so I can't wait to get a hold of him as a client. He's my guinea pig. So it's like the biggest in our industry right now. So you know what? I'm always pushing myself to learn.
It's important. You got to do it. And it's so funny because even though we work in very different spectrums of work,
yeah,
a lot of the commonalities are there, right? In terms of, you can take it as far or as little as you want to.
True.
Right? If you are willing to grow, you can be really good.
Yes.
But if you are willing to stay in the same position you are right now, you're really not going to be that good. And the thing about it is you have to actively decide to pursue.
Correct.
Pursue the education, pursue the knowledge, because it will never pursue you.
Nope.
Never.
You never want to be complacent. I know that for my personal experience and as a temperament, I never like being complacent. I've always wanted to learn what's next. Not to be to where I gotta know everything, because I don't. And I'm a newbie every time I go into anything. I'm always a newbie. Even now in my aesthetics, I'm always learning from even the new ones that came out of aesthetics, because they have something different than I know. But it's also nice to be challenged in different areas too. Like I'm going to be taking a cycling course.
Hey.
I've never done cycling.
Okay.
So we have Becoming Women of Principle is a group of women that are going national Actually, it's on nationwide.
Really?
So, women out there, if you are on Facebook, check out MK, Women of Principle. It's called the WAP group.
Louise, tell me about, I know you're talking about, right, challenging yourself, right?
Yes.
Woman of power.
Yes.
Cycling, taking up that challenge, you know.
Yes.
Is there any other kind of challenges that you're gearing up to sort of take on?
Yes, actually I am. I am doing a Women of Principle 6 seminar masterclass. And I'm just beginning to do it, guys, okay? This is like, I've never done this. Vision board, I've never done this. I don't know, have you?
I got one right there.
Colin, wow! So I'm like, vision board, what does that look like? So, and it's due this Monday. So talk about homework, I gotta get it done.
It's easy. What's important to you? What are you trying to accomplish in life? That's your vision.
You know what? I've always felt I want to be a godly women of principle. I always believed in the character of standing in my character. And what does character look like? What does integrity look like? And you know, integrity is the definition of when no one's looking, what do you do? And to me, that's very important. That's what I encourage my kids to become, because when no one's looking, who are you? Behind closed doors, can you look at yourself in that mirror and say, I am, fill in the blank.
Or I wish.
But you know, it's so sad because wishing is being someone else, or it's intangible.
Right, exactly.
Right? Wishing doesn't do anything but just keep you, it's a bubble. When you get close to it, it pops. That's what wishing looks like for me.
Oh, me as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I look at myself, I realize that, you know what, it's week by week, month by month, the accomplishment of I want to be a woman of influence, which is great. This is a very powerful for me to be able to influence the generations of to come. My children, my family, my grandkids one day. I'm excited.
Right.
And everyone that comes across and, you know, around me, I want to be that impactful. I want them to see the light, a godly light. The other thing too is I want to achieve greatness and being the best version of Louise. Not looking at, you know, what Colin has and what this person has and what I want this and I want that. I want to be the best that I can and be content with what I have and never look at what I don't have. Because when we do that, guess what, guys? You become miserable. You become depressed. And there's no gratitude. You're living completely out of emptiness. Rather than looking at your cup full, you're always going to look at your cup half empty and wishing you could be more and wishing you could be better. How about looking at yourself and saying, you know what? I am who I am today, and I want to become a better version of myself in this way. And write down some of the characteristics of, for me, I struggle with being on time. Okay? I'm trying the hardest. Somehow, I am not doing good with time management, but I'm working on it because I realize that that is a character defect of mine that I don't like in me. And I don't like that in others either.
Sure.
You know, I mean, 5 minutes is different. But when you're 20 minutes, a half hour late, that's another story.
Yes, it is. To me, that's intentional.
Right. So I don't want to be, I've never been labeled that, but even just the 5 minutes, because I want to be able to respect Colin's time. I want to be able to have somebody else respect my time. So guess what? I got to preach what I say. It's not like, here, Colin, take this advice. I'm not using it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be late, but I'm going to be late anyways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's it.
It doesn't work that way.
And that's powerful too. I was just studying Matthews. Still am studying Matthews, and we just got through chapter 7 of Matthews.
Okay.
And it talks about how you can't take a sliver out of your brother's eye if you have a plank in yours.
Hello.
You have to help yourself first. You have to be the person that you're trying to help them become.
Exactly.
You have to resemble that. You have to be that.
Right.
In order to help somebody, you have to help yourself first and be that person.
Right.
Powerful stuff.
Powerful.
So powerful, and oftentimes it gets backwards.
Correct.
People, you know, how can a person that's drowning help another person that's drowning not?
You know, there's a saying that, you know what, if you point, what is it about, if somebody like you meet and they trigger you, like there's something you don't like about them, it's kind of like, you know what is that? Call it out. And is it in me? Is it something I'm struggling with? Right? You know how they say one finger's pointing at them and then there's really three of them pointing back at you?
Yep.
So I want to be really intentional. Now, I'm not perfect, guys, please. Sometimes I catch myself going, what was that all about? And I get in touch with jealousy.
See, that's the thing though.
Yeah.
You're getting in touch with it, right?
Yes.
You're not turning a blind eye to it.
No, because if you do, Colin, guess what? You can't grow.
Right.
You gotta call it.
Yep.
You gotta call what it is. Okay, I'm jealous. Why are you jealous? Well, because I want that body. Well, why can't you? Because I don't want to work. I don't want to work out. Okay, let's just be honest. I'm too lazy. But meanwhile, I don't realize how much time that takes for that woman to have a fabulous body, diet, food, exercise, probably enough sleep. So guess what? I gotta implement that if I want that.
Oh. And that's, that's something that's ironic, but true in the sense of, a lot of people don't want to recognize why they feel a certain way, because if they backlog and they backtrack, it's going to lead to a deficiency in themselves that they don't want to talk about, that they don't want to fix, right?
You can't fix it though if you can't acknowledge it.
It's a powerful thing because it takes a lot of
awareness.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yes.
It takes a lot of confidence.
Yes.
To be able to say, yeah, I kind of stink in that aspect.
Yeah.
Let me try to do something about it and actually take up the effort and take up the work that it's going to actually take to do that.
Yeah, and it diffuses it.
Right.
You know what? It diffuses the energy it has on you. So it sets me free to say to Colin, hey, listen, I'm really struggling with this time stuff. And I'm very intentional about trying to do better each and every day. Each day I reflect, okay, today, Louise, you didn't do a good job at this. Okay, what could you do differently that you could do different tomorrow?
Right.
And just taking those little baby steps.
That's it. And and by addressing a deficit or addressing an issue, you now gain the right to speak to somebody about it and get advice and get help from somebody who's very good in that area.
Yes.
Until you address an issue, you can't ask somebody for help on the issue.
Powerful.
Right? The more you hide from it, the worse it becomes.
Right.
And I'm guilty for sure. I think everybody in life runs from something.
Yes.
And
some people even run from success.
Sure.
Sign me up.
Sure. Success is scary.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not all rainbows and butterflies. There's a lot of risk taken in it, and
yeah.
Even though, like you had said, Louise, you value a community and you value that community relationship. In order to start something for yourself, you have to be by yourself for a small period of time.
True.
When you're building that behind closed doors in the dark where nobody's seeing it, you're alone.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know what to do in those situations.
You know what? I keep reflecting always on the Joseph story. Joseph of coat of many colors. I take this and I share this with my kids all the time. They probably are like sick hearing me saying it. But here's the thing. God gave him a dream at age, 15? And he was a bit cocky with that culture. You don't go to your dad and say, you know what? I'm going to rule over you. I'm going to rule over the brothers and sisters because guess what? I'm going to be the main man.
He went about it
He was a little pompous.
Interesting way, yeah.
And the brothers despised him, right? They put him in a well and they sold him to slavery. But what's interesting is his dreams have always maintained strong, and he always drew close to God. And there was a lot of obstacles in life, as you guys know the story. And if you don't, check it out. He was struggling, but he knew who he leaned on. He didn't lean on man, because he could have been caught with the Pharaoh's wife. She wanted to sleep with him, but because he was so close to God, he knew how to flee away from her. And he was able to interpret dreams, which is what was one of his gifts. Right? So, you guys out there, if you have a dream, go back as a child and see what is the dream as a child did you have? What was the most important thing that you would daydream about. Go back to that. If you've lost it, just go back to it, hone in on it, and ask God to help you follow through that and bring people along that will kind of T your T's, right? Cross your T's and dot your I's, and bring those people to you so you can actually fulfill what God has planned for you.
My goodness. Listen, y'all. Y'all heard it here first. Do that. Go back. Understand what your dream is, you know. I think the first thing is you got to understand what your dream is,
right.
You know, because that's not always readily apparent. Sometimes you have to do some soul searching and do some digging, right?
Yes.
Understand what your dream is and go for that. You can't have joy in life if you're living a falsehood.
Yes.
You know, your dream is what you're called to do. You got to do that.
Yes.
You got to do that.
Yes.
And
you become successful.
Right.
You become naturally successful.
Guys, go chase it. Go pursue it.
Yes.
Go live your dreams. Even if everybody tells you no.
Yes.
As long as you say yes. Honestly, as long as you believe you can do it and you say yes to yourself, it can be done.
Yes.
Crazy things have happened and crazy things will happen.
Yes.
But, alright y'all, we're going to cut this one off. This was, my goodness. This was unbelievable. I believe we're going to come back for one more episode. It's going to be 13, this is 13.2. We're going to come back for 13.3. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to have Louise sort of share her journey in terms of the shoulder.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's a very spiritually sound and in-depth person. And she's able to see very base level things in a very complex way. In a very simple way. Right? A very understandable way.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm excited to have her kind of share that because I had a little bit of an involvement in that process. But even I don't know everything. Right, so I'm excited to hear it too. But alrighty, y'all, that was it for this episode. Until next time, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
Later.